So you mentioned proceeds of the book. Let's talk a little bit about why you've chosen such an important cause.
Well, you know, 5 years ago, I was asked to sponsor a child, an orphan, and I was driving, it was November, you know, so several months before Christmas. I was driving my daughter to a babysitter, and she had a long list of things she wanted for Christmas. And I want this, and I want that, and I dropped her off at the babysitter, and they had pictures. And I said, what are those pictures? She said, we're bringing some orphanage from Russia, and we're looking for family to sponsor them. I said, tell you what, put me down for a little girl, like a 6 years of age. You know, my daughter was a little bit older than that. I said, you know, that'd be good for her to compare what she has, what she doesn't. Well, I get a call. I was in Atlanta at a breast meeting, and I get a call. I was at a school for breast oncology, and I got a call. We have your little boy. I said, excuse me, I think it's the wrong number. I don't have a little boy. They call right back. I hang up. They call right back. I said, I do not have a boy. I have a little girl. You have a wrong number. He said, no, please, no hang up. No hang up. Very thick Russian accent. Who am I to talk about accent? But very thick Russian accent. And they explained to me they didn't have a little girl, but they have this little boy. I said, I can't do boys. And what am I going to do with the boy? I wouldn't even know how to wipe them. What am I supposed to do with them? I said, no, we're not going to have a boy. He said, he doesn't have a family. They make him feel guilty over the phone. I said, fine, I'll take it. How many days? 10 days. All right, I can live with 10 days.
How old was he?
He's 6.5. And that afternoon, when we picked him up, and that afternoon he was trying to eat Jell-O with a toothpick, you know, and he had a big sore, you know, on his lips. He said, Mama. And was just, I just melted. I just said, he belongs with us. And 6 months later, he was here, and he's a dual citizenship, and he's an unbelievable young man.
He also looks...
He looks like me, doesn't it?
It's bizarre.
He's a seed, right? His name is Boris. You know, usually when you adopt a child, you change the name. You know, they give him some, you know, Sean or Michael or John. You know, I said, we're not going to change his name. He's been for 6.5 years Boris. He's going to be Boris for the rest of his life. Well, my grandfather was Boris. And when I went to pick him up, they all said, oh, you look just like your little boy. And it's really amazing. We look so much alike. And it's in the book. People can look at the picture in the book.
Well,
but
I've seen him, yes.
Yeah, he's just amazing.
Did you speak Russian already?
Well, you know, yes, but it's not very, you know, grammatical Russian. I mean, I can understand, but, you know, but it's, you know, and he can understand me, so, but he didn't speak a word of English. And he's fluent in English, and you know, he's a, you know, he's an A student and plays guitar and plays chess and collects money. You know, he loves to collect money. And he's just a wonderful child. So the proceeds of the book are going for adoption, and it's called Hope 100, and we're going to adopt 100 children. We're up to 75. So just think about, you know, because the economy is so bad. So you know, to get $1 million donors is kind of hard these days. But to have $1 million donors to give $20, it's possible. So we're up to 45,000 in sales, and we have 75 children who are now sleeping in their own beds, you know, with a family. And I think that's a seed. Now, those children may grow up and become, you know, productive citizens. And what if one day they save life of your grandson or granddaughter? You know, it is a rippling effect. We're going to not even see all the fruit of the seeds that are going to be planted by this book. And that's what that book is about. It's not a story. I mean, it's an interesting story, and it's a funny story. People laugh and cry. But what this book has done, you know, that's the amazing part of it.
Here, read this part right here.
I was reminded of this when I read about scientists who discovered seeds inside a clay jar that were over 2,000 years old. They were carefully planted them and waited to see what would happen. Weeks passed, nothing. They watered them, nothing. Fertilized them, still nothing. No sign of life. Day after day for 6 weeks. Just when the whole experiment seems like a waste of effort, a tiny green sprout curling on top of the soil appeared, just like the new growth of curled doting of proud heads of my cancer survivors. Irresistible soft patches of peach fuzz give way to these unexpected strains of hope after life's longest, darkest season. However, the color and texture of the new hair always comes as a surprise. Their hair, like everything else, is rarely as it was before. It too has changed. Don't you love touching patients' hair after chemo? It's like a fur. You know, I always tell them, let me see your hair. And that's the cycle. That's the growth, the change. And you have to go with the change. It's hard sometimes, but I think it's that renewal, you know. And the fruit of our seeds, you know, the chemotherapy, I tell them, you know, the treatment we're going through now, you know, is going to benefit so many generations down the road. You know, I have a young woman right now, she's 10 years out. She has had a second child. She has seen the first child graduate from high school. And she comes in every time just high on life. She loves life. She does not exist. She lives 24/7. She said, I love my life. And I said, oh, that's wonderful. But then there are other ones who come between the visits. Oh, thank God, I'm okay. Am I really okay? And I said, what are you doing between the visits? You know, they don't quite grasp the living. They just exist. And that's the part, you know, when we introduce the exercise, other part of living every day. It's hard. It's hard for some of them. And that patient who tells you the best thing that ever happened to me is to get cancer. I couldn't understand that at first. But now I have a full understanding of that because their life is focused. Their life has different meaning. And I tell them your life will never be the same. But it could be better.
I think the book is filled with so many life lessons. Tell everyone how they can order the book.
Well, it's available on Amazon. And you can go on the Seeds Memoirs, and the hardcover is $25, and the soft, I think, is about $20. And as I said, every penny, every single penny, and this is my mom's painting of 2 women planting seeds. Every penny goes for adoption, and my mom would love it. You know, she really loves giving, and you know, there's a whole story about her. How she gives, and I like this, if I may read this, this Bernard Shaw quotation. It's of my opinion that my life belongs to the whole community. As long as I live, it's my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is not a brief candle for me. It is a sort of a splendid torch, which I have gotten hold for a moment, and I want to make it burn as bright as possible before handing it to future generations. And I really mean that. I think we can all do better. You know, little things. And that connection to others, it's just been such an unbelievable gift that my mother has given me. Asking the unexpected question and truly be interested in people. I love my patients. I like to find out about them. You know, they're not just another cancer, stage 2 breast cancer that, you know, got an adjuvant thing and follow up, you know, every 3 to 6 months. It's who they are, you know, and they come with their own life and how that affects it. Doesn't just affect that part of the body, it affects that rippling effect. And those are the seeds that I see it happen with this book. It will affect so many more people. You know, when that child gets adopted, it will affect that family. That child will grow to be a productive citizen, and that child will affect other people. And you know, they may find a cure for cancer. You know, other cancers. I mean, who knows? So that is the part that I see it happen. So it is a story. It's a memoir, but it's a story about human spirit. That's what it is.
Well, I want to encourage survivors to read this book. Newly diagnosed, whatever stage one is facing in cancer, because I think meeting a medical oncologist in a more personal way, I think there's tools in here to enhance doctor-patient communication.
Yeah.
But I think that your life journey is very applicable to the journey of someone diagnosed with cancer, and I think it's just filled with seeds of hope. And what a beautiful way. You are the last interview I get to have before I depart this San Antonio Breast Cancer Symposium, and it's a beautiful way to end a very successful meeting here, talking to you, putting sort of a human face and heart from a medical oncologist to our viewers on oncology.
You know, the last sentence in this book is live, do not just exist. And I remind my patient of that. And I can tell you, it's been really amazing change in some people's lives. You know, they do like it. They read it. They underline it. I have you know, in the office, I tell them where they can buy it. I don't sell it in the office, but they bring it, they sign it. And there are patients who really felt for them was a life-changing experience. And I like to see that. There was a seed for in their life. And so it's been really amazing response, very amazing response. So I appreciate you having me on your show.
I love you, Sasha.
Thank you. I love you too, Selma.